What's going on, you guys? Keith Carnes here, and today I wanted to do something kind of special on my channel. I wanted to talk about the Chris Benoit tragedy, but this time we're going to look at something different. This is actually a theory by fans that has been going around since it happened back in 2007. It's hard to believe it's been that long since we lost Chris Benoit, and it's even harder to believe that it's been since 2005. It'll be 10 years this November since we lost the great Latino heat Eddie Guerrero, and a lot of people like to theorize what would have happened if Eddie Guerrero didn't die in 2005 and was alive at the time of the Benoit murders. A lot of people like to say that they don't believe it would have happened. A lot of people say they don't think it would have happened. There's also people out there that say that they think it would have happened differently. There's some people out there that say it wouldn't have changed at all. Now, everybody is entitled to their own opinion, which of course I'm going to be sharing my opinion with you today about this, and I definitely think it's worth mentioning that this is something that everybody can have their own opinion on, as I just said, but this is a very, very hard thing to talk about sometimes because it's so devastating, you know. Eddie Guerrero's death in 2005, pretty much 10 years ago, it was devastating, but, you know, it was accepting. You could accept it a lot more than the way Chris Benoit died. You know, Chris Benoit in 2007, June of 2007, you know, killed his wife, killed his 7-year-old son, and then took his own life. That's a lot harder for anybody to swallow, which is, of course, why Chris Benoit has been whitewashed from the WWE and is never mentioned by the company anymore. And, you know, I've been over that in the past. I'm not going to go over that now. But there is a theory going around. There is a theory going around that people believe that if Eddie Guerrero was alive, Chris Benoit wouldn't have committed the murders. And some people just wonder, don't necessarily have an opinion, but just wonder, you know, what would have happened if Chris Benoit, what would have happened if Chris Benoit, what would have happened if Eddie was alive? And they don't really put their opinion out there, but me, I will put my opinion out there. Me, I honestly don't think it would have changed anything, because a lot of people don't understand and they don't do their research, which drives me crazy in this case, because I think it's extremely important to do your homework in this, especially if you're a wrestling fan. Any true wrestling fan would definitely go out there and do their homework on the Chris Benoit tragedy before forming their opinion of Chris himself. So, I mean, that's definitely something interesting there. The reason I think it wouldn't change is because of, it was a fact that Chris Benoit had extensive brain damage. End of story, you know? Case solved. I don't think that there's any mystery of Chris Benoit's death. I mean, yeah, I have talked about the theories and shit like that, but I don't believe that he was murdered. I really don't. And I think that it was just a product of somebody that was extremely damaged from all the years of headshots by chairs and taking horrible injuries and receiving concussions. And at the time of Chris Benoit, concussions weren't taken seriously in pro wrestling. It wasn't until Chris Benoit did what he did that professional wrestling's like, okay, we need to really look at concussions as on a more serious note. So I don't believe that anything would have changed. I think we would have just had Eddie Guerrero to be here and just be shocked like everybody else. I think it would have definitely devastated Eddie. I think that Eddie would still talk about Chris Benoit and say, you know, that wasn't my friend, like, you know, all the other wrestlers say today. You know, like Chris Jericho says, you know, he misses Chris Benoit, but that wasn't his friend that committed the murders, etc. And obviously, you know, the guy lost his mind. So in a lot of ways, it wasn't Chris. But, you know, a lot of people just like to theorize about this, and I really don't even understand why. I don't know why people would think that would change. You know, I mean, there was that ridiculous theory a while back, and maybe this is where people get that idea, that Chris Benoit killed his family to be with Eddie. I mean, that is just ridiculous. I mean, no. Like I said, it was proven that Chris Benoit had extensive brain damage, and thus it was the result of the killings. End of story. I mean, there's nothing to look at. There's nothing more. It wasn't roid rage. It wasn't caused by him doing steroids in any way, shape, or form. It was from his years of abuse to his head and undiagnosed concussions. So that's going to do it for me, guys. This is Keith Carnes. I hope you enjoyed this little special video. What are your thoughts on it? How do you think things would have been differently if Eddie had lived? I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.